Hey everybody, this is Big T at Bitter End Choppers, and today I'm going to give you a little instruction on how to install a hardtail on an old Ironhead Sportster. What we're going to start off with is the frame, completely stripped down. This particular frame is a 75, and I'm going to be adding this hardtail onto the back. From where you can see here at the bottom, these little mounts right here will match up to the mounts on the hardtail, and then we'll have to do a little bit of modification to this part of the frame, and eventually it'll weld solid direct up to the backbone at the top. This hardtail that we're using is a V-twin manufacturing product. It fits 73 to 78 Sportsters with a drum brake, and I'm going to kind of give you a step-by-step on how to install this thing, and it'll turn out really nice. Alright, as I said, this hardtail is a part that comes to us from V-twin. It doesn't come exactly like it's shown right here. What we've done is cut a little bit out of the top section here, so whenever we suit it up to the frame, it'll add a little bit more strength. And what we're going to do is make some slugs, some solid slugs that'll go into the end of the tubes, almost press fit, and we'll end up welding around them. And then that way we can notch the new solid pieces to match up perfectly with the backbone of the frame, and it'll really be a lot sturdier than just doing a direct weld. Alright. The first thing I did, as you can see, was remove some of the paint here and both these down here where it's the hardtail is going to weld up. It definitely has to be welded here. Down here there's 4 bolt holes, and if you use strong bolts, then it doesn't have to be welded, but if the customer wants it that way, that's the way we're going to do it. So I just went ahead and took the paint off. And the next thing that we're going to do is remove a majority of this. I know that it has to, definitely these rails have to come off right away, and I'll probably cut the horseshoe part right about in the middle of this corner. The reason I'm doing that is I want to just narrow it down a little bit more, so as the hardtail goes on, not only can I weld it up here, but I can also weld the tubes to the frame where they intersect with this horseshoe piece, which will make it all that much stronger. Okay, we've pretty much got the hardtail mocked up here. As you can see, I made some slugs. You can't tell really great from the shot, but this is a 1-inch OD solid rod, and obviously this is the tubing of the hardtail, and it's turned down to where there's about probably 2.5 inches worth of slug inside the tube, and it's also fish-mouthed, to where whenever I pull it out and slide it up to the tube, it'll fit up really nicely. We went ahead and put it in our frame jig because the way the hardtail set when we first bolted it on, these rails came a little bit lower to where they didn't really make as good a contact with the backbone as we liked, and a lot of this area was sticking up and really didn't look great. So what we ended up doing was heating the frame, both here and here, as you can see, and then just kind of tweaking the top rails with it all in the jig, so it'll still won't change the axle plate locations, anything like that. And really you can't even hardly tell that anything was done, but it ended up lifting the front probably about 1.5 inches or so, and made nice contact, which is exactly what we want, and that's what the customer wanted, so that's what we did. Really all that we have to do now is get it into the exact position we want, slide these slugs into place, and I'm also going to make some little gussets to go from here to here, like we talked about earlier, just for a little bit of extra strength, and that'll pretty much do it for this hardtail. Okay, I've made a couple little gussets. Here's one of them. It's a 1/4 inch thick by 1 inch wide, just a mild steel stock. Cut a little fish mouth into it, and as you can see on this one, I kind of did a little bit of sanding on it, so when it's up here into the frame, it'll sit nice against the tube, and then we'll weld it both to the thick bar bracket and to the actual the hardtail itself, and that'll add strength to where we're already going to weld it up here. Okay, the hardtail is completely done now. As you can see here, it's all been TIG welded all the way around. Here up at the backbone, the little gussets that we made down in here are welded up top and bottom. The slugs that we made ended up turning out really nice for this. I just did a little grinding and blending here to where you can hardly tell where they start and the tube stops. We didn't end up welding down here. The customer wasn't concerned with that being welded, so we're going to leave that for him to weld later if he wants to. I went ahead and did a little grinding on this this big bar bracket to where it'll kind of give us a little nicer profile with the backbone. Like you saw before, it was kind of sticking up here level, and I just wasn't real turned on to that look. So we did some grinding on that, and that way when the customer gets a seat on, it'll have a nice nice line all the way down the backbone and won't have a bunch of extra junk sticking up, and it should work just as well as any other thing you could do with the rear end, and it'll be nice and sturdy and rigid, and the customer should be really happy with it.